Hey guys, hope everyone's day is going well, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a review on the brand new YoYoFactory MVP. Let's jump right in. How long do I got to keep you? Alright, so in regards to how I actually got this yo, I gotta give a quick shout out to not only YoYoFactory, but one of you guys. So a little bit ago, YoYoFactory was like hyping up this new MVP on their story. They posted a question asking who people want to see review it, like on YouTube, like what yoers do people want to see review the MVP. And apparently one of you guys wants to see me review the MVP, which is honestly super flattering and dope. So yeah, whoever you are that suggested I review the MVP, thank you very much. I hope this review makes you happy. And yeah, just a few days later, YoYoFactory sent it over, super nice of them, so shout out to them as well. Alright, so moving right along, in regards to like the history and background on this yo, it's actually really interesting. So I got some notes from YoYoFactory regarding like this background and how the yo was made and what its intentions were. So I'm going to read that off to you guys. You guys can follow along, and I think this is just going to provide a little bit of like insight and just background on this yo before we jump into like the actual review on my part, just so you guys know what to expect and what YoYoFactory was going for with this yo-yo. Alright, so here's our message from YoYoFactory. To start in 2019, we wanted to play with the concept of rim weight. There is this fantasy that bimetal is essential for rim weight. In this design, you see a greater percentage of the weight in the rim than most bimetal designs ever produced. The MVP came from the Catch-22 design process. Catch-22 was one of the most rim-weighted yo-yos ever produced at its time. It ushered a modern bimetal design, and it introduced zero wall to design. Its undersized design, however, wasn't the size of the more modern competitor yo-yos, so we scaled it up to a single material. It was made of 7075, and we made it on the heavier side. It spun, probably one of the longest spinning yo-yos we've ever made. Personally, I used it to set the Guinness World Record for most yo-yos spinning because it spun long and true. It was a scary yo-yo too, and so much power and weight. We made a lighter MVP too, but in an age of signature designs, it was kind of overlooked. So a decade passed, and now, in this chapter where we wanted to play with max rim weight, we went back to the prime example of it from our past. It's wider, the rim is softer in shape, but all the weight is still in it, more than most max rim weighted bimetals. It ended up feeling very superstar-like. Definitely a competition capable design. It is different, people won't know what to expect, but on throw it will surprise many. So this is technically the MVP 3, I guess that's what some people are calling it, but YoYoFactory just wanted to call it the MVP. So this is the MVP, it's got quite a few alterations to it from the original MVP, but it still has a little bit of that like original feel to it. So we got some diagrams right here. We are comparing this MVP, you know, 6061, 73.6 grams, $45 to $50, to the Catch-22, which is an older model. And we have a little, you know, side-by-side comparisons right there, which is really, really interesting. And then below that, we have this really, really, like, cool picture. So it looks like they've cut apart the MVP. This is a quick look into the actual rim weight design, and that is a huge chunk of rim weight. So, and then they have a little description below that. We have a few more designs coming with this story arc, which we hope will get people to question what they think they know as fact. So essentially, this is all really interesting, and I thank you to YoYoFactory for sending me all this information. But essentially, they are just completely redesigning what we know about rim-weighted yo-yos, and this is like their first prime example of that. So I'm really, really excited to review this for you guys because this is definitely a unique yo-yo to say the least. Alright, so I'm going to put the specs of this yo on the screen in the next clip. So I'm going to bold the specs that are actually like unique to this yo, ones that are a little bit different than most yo-yos, and we'll talk about them in the clip after that, just so you guys can take a look at what's a little bit irregular about this yo-yo. Alright, so taking a look around the yo-yo with the specs. This yo-yo is just a little bit lighter than most yo-yos, coming in at just 63.6 grams. It's a little bit undersized in regards to the diameter compared to most yo-yos this day as well. Looking on over to the width, it is also a little bit wider than most yo-yos, I'd say. It's got a little bit more of a flared out look. This yo-yo is made of completely of 6061 standard aluminum, and just looking around at this color, this is absolutely sick. Like, thank you again to YoYoFactory for sending me this color, because wow. So we got this aqua and what they describe as a dipped silver. So that is really neat. Another thing that's actually really cool about this yo-yo is that on Yo-Yo Expert, you can not only change the color of this yo-yo from, you know, your blue to the red, however, you can also change the engraving and such. So like, you can completely customize this yo-yo, which is really, really sick. Because like this engraving that I have on this yo-yo right here, where it just says like MVP at the top and then YoYoFactory down there, is not the only engraving that they offer. There's a bunch of other sick engravings as well. So that's a really cool feature about this yo-yo, which I think you guys should definitely look into. And I'll put the Yo-Yo Expert link down below if you guys are interested in picking one of these guys up. Alright, and then around the entire yo-yo is just like really like smooth matte finish, pretty standard, but it's really nice that they've got a like matte bead blasted finish. The shape itself of this yo-yo is really crazy. I mean, just like look at it. It's super flared out. We've got these more like rounded rims on the outside, and then this super defined cut, which leads to a slope that leads down to the bearing. But yeah, it's pretty darn unique. There's just like that giant cut right there. It just really separates itself from the yo-yo. And I'll put the picture again of that cut yo-yo. But you can definitely see how they've concentrated this rim weight like just in that one spot. And it's super thick there compared to the rest of the yo-yo, which is a really interesting thing. Overall, the shape itself of this yo-yo is definitely pretty unique, and I've never seen anything like that. Now looking on over to the cup, it's pretty wild. It's got a flat base at the bottom, and then looking on over like kind of into the rim, we've definitely got a ridge for thumb grinds. Overall, I'd say the appearance of this yo-yo is pretty unique, but it also is like, you know, simplistic and clean in its own way. Alright, so now moving on over to the feel of this yo-yo. To start, the feeling of this yo-yo is really hard to describe, but it's super unique and dope. So for me, this yo-yo plays really light on the string, and that was like the first thing I noticed. It just kind of like whizzes along the string, very, very floaty play. But the thing that absolutely like blew my mind with this yo-yo is how stable it is while still being light. So like, this is a extremely like rim weighted yo-yo. Like, you can definitely feel it, and it's super, super stable. It stays very stable through all your types of tricks, but it still plays really, really light, which is a crazy balance that like manufacturers always strive to achieve. Like, one of the most stable yo-yos I've ever tried in my life. Like, you can try your hardest and try to make it to get off axis, but it stays in its line just perfectly, but it still plays really floaty and light on the string. So that is absolutely crazy how they've achieved this. In addition, the gap I found was really accommodating for like whips and slacks, so you can totally do that. Tech tricks are also really nice because the dimensions of this yo-yo aren't really irregular in any way, so you can definitely get into the more complex mounts. And then finally, I found for horizontal this yo-yo to be amazing. I mean, it makes sense. The yo-yo is a very long spinning and like very stable yo-yo, and so for horizontal, you can absolutely just nail it with this. For grinds, this yo-yo is really, really great. Finger and palm grinds are really nice because of that smooth matte finish all around. Thumb and talon grinds are also really good because there's definitely a like ridge to lock right in there. And then finally, finger spins are pretty good, I'd say. I mean, there's no finger spin like dimple, you know, like not something to like lock in. However, that's alright. This yo-yo can still perform finger spins really nicely. It's got a very smooth matte finish around the entire yo-yo, like I said before, and so that aids to some really nice finger spin play. Alright, so when I looked this yo-yo up and found out that it was really just $45, that honestly blew my mind. I was really, really expecting this yo-yo to be like around like $100 or so, because I mean, this thing is really unique and it plays really, really well. Being in like the budget range and still being a unique yo-yo is not a very common thing. I mean, most yo-yos that are like, you know, more on the unique side and have like a lot of great things about them are so much more expensive, but this yo-yo plays way better than $45. And I just think it's really, really great that they've lowered the price down to $45, because that's super sweet for anyone looking for a good budget yo-yo. In conclusion, this is a really, really high-performing yo for a really nice, cheap price. I really recommend it to anyone looking for something, you know, nice and unique that will play really well, but also won't break the bank too much. I really gotta hand it to YoYoFactory for making such an amazing, you know, unique yo and really pushing the boundaries with rim weight design. This is a great step for the yo future. But yeah, that's about it for my review on the YoYoFactory MVP. If you guys did enjoy the review, be sure to leave a like. Also, if you guys are new here and haven't seen my videos before, definitely hit that subscribe button because I'll be posting videos just about every single week. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Peace.